I got to visit because she was a freshman there when I was a freshman in high school. So she had 4 years there. And I went to a lot of games, football games, hockey games.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah. That's going to be sweet. I tell you what, because
Yeah.
definitely a cool environment. I like it. We got to see where her house was and all, or, like her apartment and those kind of things. That'll be pretty sweet.
Good.
Yeah. So that'll be good.
Cool.
Let's see what I got. I know. Other than that, oh yeah, we're on. Okay, sweet. Turn this down. Cool. I'm gonna try to make sure I'm seeing like the comments if I can, because that was kind of fun last time. So what I do, just for you too, if you want to get on like Myers Chiropractic, and then on there you can like see the chat on your phone. Are you on your phone or your computer?
I'm on my phone, but I have my Chromebook right here.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. So you can kind of do it, but then dial it way down, like volume wise, and then you won't get like the weird
double.
Yeah. And I'm like a squirrel, so that's pretty bad. Like as we go. So, all right. So I'll get started while you mess around with that and see how it goes.
Okay.
Oh, actually, before I start, I'm going to switch. I'm going to switch to, there we go. Sweet. Okay. I'll be on mine. And then if anybody has comments there. Okay. Sweet. So we got her all set up, but welcome to the 1% tribe tonight. It's pretty awesome. We had last week was pretty enlightening for a lot of people. Like we talked a lot about the divine matrix and the separation between the chakra points are your body's energy, and there's a whole concept of what they call the divine matrix, which is the universal God energy. And then we kind of went through that. It was pretty fun, actually. Like, it's one of those topics that I could go for days. And then we did, like I told Amy last time, Greg Braden was the author. That was really good. But I love listening to his stuff. It makes you add up quite a bit of our spiritual journey on the way. Sometimes we get caught up in these physical pieces, and then those spiritual ones are so important. And hopefully each one we will do as we go, we will get a closer and closer connection to that you would like too. So, but my first one, I'm going to go through the stuff I found. I'm going to call this like this just found Jeremy's nerd brain stuff. I think you guys will like. So this is kind of important information that if you did something like this might be a very good go for. So, and remember, if you didn't watch it last week, just sign up for the tribe1.substack.com. That'll get you on our email list for free, all that stuff. And then you get all the videos. So then if you want to too, there's a Substack app that's got some really good authors on there, but I use it all the time because now we can write articles, video, podcasts, anything I want, I can upload and you guys automatically get an email. My hope is at some point we'll get so good at these Sunday ones that it'll be a Zoom like this. But then we'll also do some podcast interviews. That's my ultimate dream. If no one knew this, I had a Zoom, a podcast going where we had it up to about 3,500 people, and I thought it was no big deal. But I would interview people, extraordinary people doing ordinary things. So like my normal work people that would run marathons and all these cool things. It's so fun to do that, have an interview come on that way. So I'm hoping the Substack will actually have places where we can podcast too. So the combination of all that is pretty awesome. But yeah, so these are the things I found this week. So the 13 most common nutritional deficiencies. This one's a quiz for Amy. Amy, let me see how good you are.
Okay.
What do you think the 13 most common nutritional deficiency, and I'll keep count.
Like medicine, or I mean, like supplement wise, or like vitamins?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Think that
Ooh.
way.
Magnesium, iron, vitamin B and D,
Good.
um, what's the selenium,
Good.
Vitamin A,
Good.
vitamin E,
Good.
um,
The other two are impossible.
oh, okay.
But you got, okay, I'm going to read them to you. So vitamin D, vitamin A, B12, because like, remember, all of our digestive tract sucks. So vitamin B12 is a really hard one to digest. So it's a very specific part of your colon that like digest that. So a lot of people have trouble with that one. So vitamin D, vitamin A, B12, vitamin C, vitamin E, niacinamide. I think that's B6.
Yeah, I
Somebody
was
else.
just gonna say, yeah, I think that's B6.
I think that's, yeah. So then omega-3 fatty acids.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
Yep. There's two that you wouldn't have known, glycine and choline, which we'll go into that at some other different part. And coenzyme Q10. That was pretty good. That's always a good one. So that little list there, and I'll probably put it in the chat when I release the video. I'll make sure I put all those down. But think about starting your day that way, knowing which ones you just need. You know, pretty much on average, all these things. So if I shoot that as a nice vitamin, you know, that's why I always recommend a really good multi. And then that hits a lot of wheelhouse stuff.
That our Vibe has all that stuff in it.
Yeah. The
Or the
Vibe,
super
liquid
bees.
one is sweet. It's my favorite because it's so easy. It's not a pill. Doesn't get you all, you know, that kind of thing. Here's one that was crazy good in a way. So learning this. So fibromyalgia is one of these things that you hear about as a condition all the time. So a lot of times it's been a struggle for doctors in general to understand how to even treat it, right? So either the doctor's like gives up and then says you're a crazy person because everything doesn't fit right to what they're having, right? So in us in 1% tribe, we kind of can understand that because we have this subconscious program and we have a lot more brain things that occur versus just pain, right? So, but they found inflammation to the brain is one of the number one reasons fibromyalgia occurs. Okay. So that's big news. That's really big because they kept doing brain CTs on people with fibromyalgia. And with those, the best, I think there's certain trigger points that's about all the diagnosis we could have is like about 10 to 20 trigger points in certain areas. That's how you get the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. This tells you a whole new thing. That person was literally feeling pain and their brain is reacting. And Amy's been through it before, but we do this thing called muscle testing where one of the points that we look at is your ability to do pain. So like either overreactive or underreactive. And it's just a body response. It has nothing to do with, you know, your pain tolerance level or your mental ability to take on that pain. So with that said, fibromyalgia with a really clean diet of like an anti-inflammatory diet, you know, things that we've talked about before, really good anti-inflammatory herbs, that would be a huge thing if you have fibromyalgia. So that is awesome. So then the other one it's a big trend right now. So we're going to go into that. We talked about salt last week and how salt is not the enemy of the world, like they would like us to know, or like us to understand the sodium potassium differences, because what they found was we could say no salt, but we have actually more heart disease than we did prior to. So that doesn't make any sense. So then you go in and you find out, table salt straight up sodium chloride, which is not the greatest thing in the world. So why not switch that to a sea salt? And in fact, people are staying away from salt so much that they've actually caused imbalances with it and potassium in their body, causing these muscle issues and maybe even cholesterol stresses again on your body. I couldn't find a really good sodium potassium level. So what I wanted to do was just in this setting, I want us to understand, okay, let's look for what normal is for a sodium and potassium level, because you really want to make sure your sodium levels in the norm and your potassium levels in the norm. Those two are pretty good because we're electrical. And when you have these sodium plus ions and potassium ions, those are a big deal if we don't have that electricity going. If that electricity suffers, all your communications will suffer because your nervous system is made of that. So those are that. And then my favorite, I have one lady that's doing our holistic coaching with us that this has been a hilarious struggle with her. She does not like beets. And now I have another reason that she must eat beets, because they're finding that beets actually help prevent Alzheimer's disease, which is really cool. That's a fascinating one that I saw. Huge study on that beet, juice beet, because that's a really good, they call it a superfood. A lot of supplement companies are jumping all over that because it's great with the heart and, those kind of things. I didn't have time to research the actual why beets do that and what is the, like in our herbal stuff, I will get to tell you, like today, what the pieces of the plant are that are pretty important. Beets, I don't know. But I know they're really good for you. I know their digestive tract. One of the best things, if somebody has chronic constipation, I will lead them to beets almost before I'll lead them to anything else. So beets really get things moving. But and all this heart goodness as well. So that was a good one. So beets can help prevent Alzheimer's. So if you had Alzheimer's running in your family, beets might be a thing to put on your salad. I'm just saying. So that would be a good thing. All right. They're good, Amy. I saw that face. All right.
Louis just gave us a bunch from his garden, and Tucker's like, I just brought home a bunch of vegetables from Dad for you, but don't cook those beets until I'm here. And I'm like, don't worry, I won't touch them.
One of my favorite memories as a kid was my mom and dad. I, for some reason, loved Popeye the Sailor Man. I don't know why. Like, I'm not that old where that was an old cartoon, but for some reason, like, I was the Incredible Hulk and Popeye the Sailor Man was my thing. So my dad said, if I want muscles like the Hulk, you have to do some kind of green. So it was beet greens. He'd boil them with the whole thing, and then he'd let me put as much ketchup as that. Maybe that's why I liked it. I just put as much ketchup as I wanted, and then if I got through it all, he was like, "See, they have to be big, strong like that." Those beet greens, I still have a hankering for them half the time. So I just loved like doing that. A little ketchup on there. Oh. Beet greens are good. That's right. All right. So let's talk about blood sugar and herbs, because this one's pretty cool. Hopefully I will end. We've been ending perfectly on time, which I really like. So Sadie's here. I saw her on the screen. You can say hi. Hi, Sadie. Do you eat beets, Sadie? Did you say yes? Did you know you get giant muscles if you do that? I'm just saying. I think it would be fantastic. Yeah? All right. Remember that. Beet greens. All right. So remember, nature needs no help, just no interference. And I'm sorry about the picture. This was for Men's Health, and I completely forgot to do this. I got cool pictures. This one doesn't exactly go with blood sugar, but it is what it is. So blood sugar it is. All right. So what we're going to go over tonight is a quick overview on the everyday supplementation that you can take to regulate your sugar, diets that can help you in a remarkable way with this process. A new approach actually to eating that we'll talk about at length a little bit tonight. And then, of course, some activities to put you on the right track. I'll get to the good stuff. All right. So let's go through what type of herbs can help. So the reason I do this class on this end of the night is to teach you a little bit more than just what the herb says, where you go to Amazon and start typing that in. What we have to know is the language. So the language will help you more than anything else. An adaptogen. So an adaptogen is it's really easy to remember if you say your body's ability to adapt. So these are plants, and there's a lot of them. Trust me, there are a ton of plants that are what they call adaptogens. Once you take it in, it can almost help the body in several different ways to regulate, not just the blood sugar part, but many others. Like, check this. So almost every one of these plants, here's the definition. It helps the body adapt to stress, physical, mental, environmental, and helps regulate the neuroendocrine, which is nervous system and hormones, and the immune system. So that's a pretty big deal, right? Pretty much your acute communication pathways, it tries to clear them up. So think that way when you're talking hormone, neurology, right? And the immune system. They all have to be in really good communication to work. Some that you've heard of are on this. Panax ginseng tea is really, really good one. This Panax, if you can say that last name, quinquefolius. I think that's my favorite part of trying to remember this stuff. But Panax, there's another species of Panax that does the same thing. Rhodiola is a really kind of a popular one in the herbal remedy area. And then astragalus is one of my favorites. So astragalus, this is the big scientific name. With those, very important. Adaptogens are very, very good at a lot of different things. Astragalus is they're all really good at just normalizing the body in those adaptations to stress. And what do we talk about in Nature Needs No Help, No Interference? We are, like we went over last week, we always look at in terms of the perfect who we are, right? We are perfect. Like, how do we stay there? And those kind of things. So an adaptogen is what they're called. And these adaptogen plants, teas, herbs, a lot of these are really good to just take if you want to. You can take them as a supplement, a tincture, whatever you like. I always love the teas because it's a little easier to put in your diet without worrying. I say, if you want to take it to a different level, call us. We'll do this. We're getting really good at the health coaching thing. It's pretty fun. So this one's interesting. It's a weird name to it, but it's called an alterative. So an alterative is something that is just about the same thing as an adaptogen is in a way, but it actually tries to strengthen the different systems. Okay. So one thing that got me completely addicted to being a registered herbalist was when I started reading about what dandelion does. Dandelion is one of these awesome, like as a tea. Some people used to cook them, I've never had that, but that idea that it was one of the number one gallbladder detoxes in the planet, and we have them grown in our yard and we had no idea. That tells me a lot about what we can do with those. So this alteratives are ones that tonify, strengthen, and gradually restore function to the body. It enhances metabolism, which it comes in for the blood sugar. And these are really good for blood sugar type pathways. Okay. So burdock is one, and dandelion are the other ones. So just to let you guys know, those two. So those two work pretty good. Dandelion tea, it's been a popular one we talk about at the office. Burdock is another really good one that people use a lot in a lot of other cultures. So it's pretty cool. All right. Okay. This one's a little different. Sorry, I'm doing passion flower tea tonight. I don't know. This weird shaded background. I don't know if I like it. There we go. Okay. So yeah, Sunday is my 1% where I'm like, ooh, and I kind of get, once I start studying for the presentation, it makes you stay on task too. So that's why I always like having those triggers that go, okay, like, what are you going to do? Right. So bitters, Amy pretty much knows bitters are something that stimulates the digestive system prior to everything going in. So one of the things that we've made a huge kind of mistake on is we eat and run so much. We just constantly are eating and running. Bitters, which can be, these are the herbs of bitters, but there are actual little alcohols. Like Italians do it almost every time. So you have like little, before a big dinner, you'll have a little bit of this, like you can find bitters at liquor stores as well. But it's a little beginner to your meal so that your digestive tract and your digestive system's ready to go. Because a lot of times what happens is we inundate the body with food. The food's not ready because it's watching. Here's a good example. One of the worst ones I can tell you probably would fix a ton of shit. You would probably drop points on sugar, I would guess, just by doing this. So watching the movie Indiana Jones, being in the middle of Indiana Jones, and all of a sudden you're eating, right? Your body might be into this exciting movie where it doesn't want, it's like, oh crap, Indiana's about to fall off the cliff. So now I got my sympathetic nervous system going crazy. And now you're asking the other nervous system to do something with the food. So all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, you're eating. You're supposed to be running from the cliff that you're about to fall off of in the movie, right? So it's called the sympathetic parasympathetic. So all of a sudden in this movie, we are inundating our sympathetic, and our sympathetic goes, dude, I don't need this food right now. I'm running. I'm trying not to fall off a cliff. If that makes sense. Hopefully that does, because that just by itself is a good thing. That's why family dinners are so cool. Laughter so cool. Like doing those things, like sometimes having a big group at a restaurant or something. Oh, the food always tastes better. And it's usually digested better because of that. So just remember those things. These are some other ones that can add to bitters if you don't like the alcohol option. Dandelion is another good one. Rue, which I have to look that up. There's an actual plant called rue. It's not rue like the butter. Artichoke leaf's phenomenal in so many ways. The amount of things that it hits, artichoke is a really good one. And wormwood is a very good one as well. All these four are pretty important as far as maybe starting with, a small little bit of dandelion tea before you start, or, that's kind of thing. Peppermint was a good one in the back in the day too. That's one reason why peppermints are given to you. Well, peppermints are more of a gas. It's called, dang it. They are one that breaks up the gas stuff. So that that's why you get a peppermint after you eat, that kind of thing. It helps demulcent. That is not right, but I will say that for right now. So it breaks down the gas, it helps digestion at the end of it. And so that's another thing you can do. But the bitters are super important because that tells your body, tells your blood sugar to get going. It tells your pancreas to start rolling prior to this to start happening instead of getting attacked later. All right. Okay. So these are some other ones that I'm very interested in. I'm going to actually experiment with, because sometimes all of us have a carb craving. I really want to see how this goes. These two are pretty important. We have the one that kind of helps with the carb craving. So if you think of at night or fatigue, this one called L-urethro is one that actually can do that. So this is, can you see that, Amy, at all?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. The other one, and they're both this next one is a really good supplement anyway. But 5-HTP. 5-HTP is a one that is a lot of herbalists go to for depression, like a milder depression that you don't have to, there's quite a bit when we get into that area. But what's cool is it also has the depression, I hate to use the word depression versus just saying, all of us have that depressed state. And so with that depressed state, there comes eating, like sad eating or breakup diets and all that. It's always funny, when you see it in a movie, but when it really happens, that sucks. So the 5-HTP helps out with that a lot. Okay, so because we're talking about blood sugar, I wanted to get you to understand about, what comes with blood sugar problems. So at this point in my career, 23 years doing this, the one condition that petrifies me more than anything in all of the ones that you see is diabetes, because it's a very big silent killer. It really sneaks up on you neurologically, in your vision. If we can start regulating that, like it's one of those things where if we can figure this food thing out, if we can figure like how our body's responding to that, then we can have a lot of good success with this. And in fact, a lot of times I think that's my coolest one, when patients take it on themselves. They take this chance, move into that realm of I'm gonna beat this thing, and you can actually watch them reduce their sugars. And I think that's fantastic. It's just one of those things where once you see it, it's really cool to see somebody succeed with this. But the vascular effects are real. So you have, a patient will have neuropathy in their feet, and that neuropathy in your feet can lead to, not having a leg, if we don't take care of that. And so it's one of those things. Or, a person that has, eye problems based on the sugar issue, they could literally end up blind. And I've had both cases. I've had both scenario where the person had to lose their leg, and somebody that actually went blind based on their sugar being out of control. So my hope is, and it's harder than it looks. So I'm not saying it's just like, hey, just take this stuff and it's going to be that way. We're going to get to a point where blood sugar is such a bigger journey in health that we have to really kind of focus in on that. And then that's where I recommend highly coming to talk to one of us and getting on that journey so we can kind of check you, with it. But so here's some vascular ones that if somebody has a blood sugar issue, these are really good to help out with. So blueberry, bilberry, cranberries, always awesome. Amla fruit, hawthorn, grapeseed extracts, really, really good too. I see that in a lot of different supplementation stores, so you can get some good quality stuff. Ginkgo biloba is fantastic. Horse chestnut seed extract, that's another great one. And the last one is pycnogenol. So pycnogenol is one we're going to start carrying at the office with a few other ones. For this one has a very bigger effect on the vein side of the world. So we have like a few supplements and herbs that actually help and affect the vein side. And a lot of a lot of our vein artery issues, as we go older, or as we have athletes that have vein issues as well. So it's just one of those big things. All right. So this is why I say this. The road to good blood sugar is a road up a mountain, through a river, and over the next mountain, because it ain't easy. Once that happens, you have this pre-programming. There's so many little pre-programs. So think about the pre-program of So remember this, that we have control of these kind of things, but these subconscious programs, you got to start with, how did you eat as a kid? What was your processes like? Some people had to sit at the table till they ate it all. Some people, their parents were going through every diet craze that ever was around there. So, and some didn't eat very much, so that's how those different subconscious programs is something you're going to have to figure out. The other one that's massive, we're finding this in the office several times. I'm meeting with a lady next week too, I think, maybe next week, but getting your gut bacteria correct. So that's part of it before you even can start the process of any of this working. So with gut bacteria in a correct framework, right? We want to make sure there's no interferences in there. Then we can start working on these other awesome things that could bring in there, and those kind of things. So one of the things that's hard I'm so happy to have Amy's Psych-K situation, our other aspect to this. Not only can we kind of address the gut, we can actually talk about the subconscious programming of eating and figure out like where that comes from, what you can work on. And I'm telling you, oh man, Amy worked on me Friday for the first time. I wanted to try the technique myself. It's going to be awesome. You guys will love it. I usually take a nap about every noon, and I had no desire to do that, which was crazy. So I just walked through the day oh, it's 4. Where's my nap? Oh, I didn't need it. Usually my body's talking to me about that. That's just one aspect of what we're, what we're doing to bring all these things together. And then hopefully you'll listen to this again, and then you can start adding the herbs that we talked about, in there and see how you do. Right. My other favorite is that we have Dr. Rachel Myers in our office does one on weight management. And one of the best parts of that program, it's separate from where we're trying to fix or do the get your wellness around. This is dedicated directly to the weight management. But by doing that, you end up becoming, your sugars get better. And it's just because they work so hard on the subconscious programming part, and it's awesome. So just know that there's stuff out there. That's my biggest thing, is people don't know where to go. And then the first thing that happens is you see it on Facebook or an ad, or, they jump on the next best thing. Why not have people with you? That's what this tribe's about. The people that are watching this, they know they can reach out and we can talk. I got an email from a lady that was so cool, after she had watched last week, and just conversation. So feel free to do that, please. As we start doing these kind of things, hopefully this will give you enough tools for that. All right. So biggest thing. So what our 1% improvement this week for this topic is, let's do a self-evaluation. Where are you at? What was your last, sugar number? Where are you at? Weight wise, are you comfortable there? If you're comfortable there, maybe this is when you start the herbal process. If you're struggling to figure out how you're going to eat, do that. And here's one that's always hilarious. You're not going to show it to anyone. So do not lie to yourself, people. Because one of the things about food, people lie to themselves. It's crazy. Write down when you eat for 3 days. Write down what you eat and when you eat it for 3 days straight. And just show it to yourself. And once it's done, you can burn it. I don't care. As long as you see it and see, is this the habit that you want to do? Right. And my other suggestion on this one always, I would talk to one of us this going through, talking to one of us about helping you be a coach in either direction, whatever your goals are on it. So that is what I have. I want to, but Amy, do you have any questions? Let me get into my slides.
Yeah, I actually have been reading a lot about berberine. I know you had recommended it for one of our people one time, but isn't that supposed to be good to control or to help control your blood sugar levels too?
Big time. So berberine falls in the category. Let me see where I put that. Berberine's super good. A lot of times, let me see. Ooh, I wonder if I could. Let me look that up real quick. Berberine's really good as well. So you're never going to go wrong in a lot of the different herbals. Anything. So the other thing that you always got to think of is, and that's why I like teaching the what the actions are, because the actions are pretty cool. Like when you have berberine, I didn't even put that out there. Oh, I feel bad. Thank you, Amy, for that.
You're welcome.
That's like one of the number one ones.
But it's a
buzz. Yeah.
Waiting for you to bring it up. And I was like, well, he didn't even mention it.
I know. I don't know why I did not. Dang it. Wasn't it? I used my super secret chart this time because I had my total focus was on that you'll rethrow.
Yeah.
Because of the I was thinking that for myself, so I apologize. But there's a lot of buzz around that, and it's very, very good.
Well, and also, can people just contact you or whatever if they want to know like how much they should be taking?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times they'll tell you. I always tell people it depends on how your guts are acting currently. You only have to really worry about that if you're like sensitive to it, if that makes sense. So like if you can't eat, can't do pills or you can't do certain things. Gosh, I can't believe I forgot berberine. That's a really, really good one. But
you're let's see. How do you even say that? Eleuthero? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
The same as Siberian ginseng?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So what it does is it allows that like carb craving, because I think the mental part is more in this type of thing where the blood sugar gets out of control is a lot of times if we can figure out how to control the brain aspect.
Yeah.
I think we'd be a little ahead of taking something, you know what I mean? So but there are freaking amazing like out there, because right now one of the problems is there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't have a lot of clinical studies or anything. People are taking stuff that it messes with your so people are taking actual drugs to lose weight, which then doesn't fix any of the neurological part of they have a drug in them that doesn't think they're hungry. Well, that doesn't do any good. Like, because eventually either your body's going to revolt and because there's other things that need food, right? Like you have to eat because your body needs the liver to run, needs the gallbladder to run. It's not just about like the fat cells, right? There's all this other stuff. And so if all of a sudden you're not fueling things, you're going to have problems. You're just going to. And so the side effects are pretty easy to figure out if you're like starving yourself because you're taking a drug that makes you fake that you're not hungry anymore. So, but to quash the carb situation, that's a big deal, because then you can really start honing in on that. That's why I love good fats and, like a more protein rich diet as much as you can, because that will help a lot. That helps with sugars all the time. So, but yeah, good one. Dang it. I wish I would have thought of that. I'll put that. I'm trying to think of anything else, but yeah. So, and Amy's just kind of starting. Have you had anybody else yet with just me and you so far, right? So she's been training for a while anyway.
Yeah, Jen really wants to do it.
Yeah. So
And Karen.
it's a very cool thing. It helps. What she's doing is there's not a lot of things out there that allow the subconscious program to be rewritten. It's very tough because there's a couple things in the world. There's constant repetition that can do it. You can eventually do it. It might take years, but how deep is that subconscious program? How deep does it go in there? And there are some ways that a focus to energy in the 5% time, remember, your subconscious program runs 95% of the time. You get 5% of the time to change it. How do you do that? Right. And so, like, after Amy's done, I have 2 sticky notes that are 2 sayings on sticky notes that is going to be with me. And that all I need is that 30 seconds to read it. And that's going to begin to start changing things. And we're going to notice those changes. So pretty cool.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. We have Julie today. Julie, I'm going to bring you around if you'd like to talk. If you don't, actually, Julie, if you want to talk, just raise your hand. If you have any questions tonight. Oh, yay. All right. I think if you push the mute, if you take your mute off, you should be good. Did it work? Yes. Okay. Go ahead, Julie.
Hi, interesting.
Hi, thank you. I forgot berberine though. That was kind
Yes,
of important.
I finally joined you.
I know you did it.
Because the weather is bad. Or I'd be.
I know. Julie's been trying. She's been trying, but the weather's been so good in Michigan, really.
Yeah.
I forget about
I knew this would be the struggle. But did you have any questions, Julie?
Not really questions, but it was interesting. I would like to talk to Amy a little bit about this. I guess you call it visualization. And
Yep.
I'm not quite sure. I need more information. I'm not quite sure.
Yep.
But
So she'll sit down with you.
Weight
So,
problem.
yeah, go ahead, Amy. Oh,
I'm sorry. I had to mute for a second. I have a visitor. Julie, you said you want to talk more about visualization.
The psyche stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll walk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to come up with a good description that we can so we can explain it to people, and you know how helpful it can be and what it can do for you in all areas of your life.
Yeah, because it's so fantastic. The problem is understanding what it is. You know, like we're literally, you know, when you get on these and I explain it for a long time, that makes sense. But how do we rewrite the program? How do we reprogram? I keep thinking like a computer.
Yeah.
How do we run the newest version of Microsoft Word? You know, something like that. How do we walk through that portion? And it should be awesome. So yeah, we'll just give us a shout. We'll get you on there. Amy will be doing it. Yeah, it will be fun.
It would be interesting. I'm very curious. I'm like a curious George, if you remember the little monkey. I'm very much like him. I don't understand it, but I'm curious to find out what it is.
Yes. And you will understand pretty well once we going in there. So my favorite analogy of the subconscious programs is always this. So if you were a young kid and there was a man and you were going to jump in the street, let's say you were going to jump into the street and get in front of the car, and a man grabs your arm violently and pulls you out of the street, and he's wearing a red shirt and he's yelling at you. You don't know who he is. It's not your mom or dad. You're in this panic mode. You know, 50 years later, somebody puts up red curtains in your living room and you go, I hate red. Why do you link why does a person link this word, right? This hate color, right? To that feeling, right? We don't know. And that's what's so crazy. Like what Amy will go through is, and the things we think are the subconscious program is not it. It was crazy. Like she blew me away a little bit because you use muscle testing to do part of it. And I thought for sure, like it was this one move and it was not. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So that part was why I would do it again and again and again. Right. So it's a very cool process. Gives you a lot of tools as well. So that is awesome. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because
Yes.
now I'm going to think about, why do I react to certain things?
Yes.
A little bit like with me, you lie to me one time, you're done.
Yeah. So
And
yep.
I've been, someone has just been lying to me, and all of a sudden, red flags are going everywhere. And I had to think about, I've been lied to in the past, and I have brought those memories up because of that. So and now, I have to forgive this person, and I am struggling
Yep.
because I don't want to.
Yeah. I know.
And to be blunt, I just don't want to. And I know I have to, and it's a process. You got to get there. And it's going back to past events. And that's why I'm struggling. I want justice.
Yeah.
If I trusted you and this is how you treated me, no one wants to be treated terrible. And it has just brought up boatload of memories. And now I'm struggling because I can't put them in the computer in the proper spot because they've been moved.
Yep.
If that makes any sense at all.
It totally does. And that's a big health in general. So when you have a situation like that, because all of us do, right? So, but it just depends on how it hits you and those kind of things. This what you'll be working on is, like, why is that happening? You get down to the depths of it, and then all of a sudden, maybe the next time, or if it happens, or how you respond, maybe it makes it really easy for you to like forgive that person, So I can't wait to go through that part as I get to know it as the patient, because it's so profound in being able to do that, but here's the thing, we don't know what that is. We don't know. Let's say me and you think deeper in, and Julie, we'll end it here. So I'm going to make you mute yourself real quick. So it's not your fault, but at the deeper in, you go, oh, it must've been this one situation on this part. And then it's something totally different that you had no idea, and I think that is the coolest part of what we're adding to, so that not only are we looking at the nutritional level, the physical level of the chiropractic part and the alignment, right? But what you end with, like with the mind and everything else. So I'm excited. And this week I am hoping, we'll see. Last week we had 152 views, which is a record. So if you have friends that would like to get into this, let them know. We're going to be here Sundays at 8:00. And Sadie sometimes makes her appearance known. Yes, she's fantastic. She will be getting the microphone soon, if she ever wants to. Yeah, that's right. Or if Sadie, do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions?
No, not yet. All right. Are you sure?
Well, she missed your presentation, so she'll have to rewatch it.
That's right. That's right. So that's right. Just let me know. Let me know if you any questions on Bear Breeds.
You singing? You say good night. Say good night.
Best way to say goodnight, right?
All right.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy. See ya.